everybody, welcome to my latest video. It's actually very cold out here, even though the sky's blue over there, crazy looking over there, and I've got my socks and sandals on. Even the socks and sandals are no defense for the chill that's in the air. So I've got a fun video for you today. I've had the permaculture design students from Kila Permaculture Farm come over last week and do a bunch of stuff on the garden. So I'm going to share that with you a little later on. But right now, I'm gonna actually go inside and hide from the cold, make myself a hot chocolate, and I thought that I would have a chat about my educational journey to get to the point where I'm at right now. I did my own permaculture design course way back in the day, and I've taken lots of building courses and stuff like that along the way. So I thought I'd go over some of that stuff, share it with you, and then at the very end of the video, I'm gonna give you my top tip if you want to live this kind of lifestyle, move to a new community you've never been to before, and set up your own homestead. So let's go inside, let's go beyond the macaroni. The flies are out in full force. We'll go into the house, I'll make a hot chocolate, and we'll have a chat. Okay, that was fast. I just got in the house, and this happened, so definitely time for hot chocolate. Okay, so I've made a hot chocolate. It's underneath this paper towel because the flies are pretty insane. They seem focused more on that side of the house, so hopefully they leave me alone, but it's been pretty crazy. So I've got my defense mechanism and weapons of choice. I do have this thing as well, but it electrocuted my dad yesterday, so I'm a little scared to touch it, but I have these guys. So I spent a couple of minutes making a hot chocolate, and the weather has changed once again, and it's glorious and sunny out. So it's been pretty crazy. It's hard to plan, but I guess you just have to adapt. So I'm just gonna waffle on a little bit. I don't usually do videos where I talk about things. I'm usually out doing work, blabbing on about the work, but I very rarely pick a topic and have a discussion. So let's give it a go and see how this goes. So far, so good. So I'm just gonna talk about kind of my educational path to get to where I am today. I studied business in university, totally not applicable to what I'm doing right now, and basically got out of my hometown as soon as possible because I really wanted to go traveling. I was just excited to see the world, and off I went. And in my time traveling, I did do quite a bit of volunteering on farms. And I worked on farms as well. I did a lot of fruit picking in Australia. That is some tough work, let me tell you. So yeah, I wasn't completely unfamiliar with farms after my trip to Australia. I spent a year in Australia and then went to the UK for a while and traveled all around for quite a while. And in my travels in 2008, I ended up in Nicaragua at a place called Finca Bonafide on Ometepe in Nicaragua. It was the very first permaculture farm I came across. It's the very first place I ever saw anything to do with natural building. I mean, I suppose in theory I knew you could build with clay and mud and whatever, but I'd never seen it in modern times. And yeah, it was the first time I saw it in action, and I was completely smitten with the natural building, and I really loved the way this guy was doing his farming, I suppose, but just managing his land. And permaculture was a totally new word to me. And yeah, it set me on a path. And then I suppose I just kind of keep traveling for a bit. I did some other volunteering stuff, but I always tried to do work exchanges anywhere I went. So Workaway is one website, and Help Exchange is, I think, an older website that I used early in my travels. I've used both of them, and I think Workaway seems to be the busier one these days. And so basically anywhere that I could find a farm or a community or something that was doing something I was interested in, I'd love to stop, work for a while, extend my travels, but also learn a lot in the process. And in Nicaragua, we did some building with bamboo, we did some natural building with clay, definitely did loads of garden stuff, and yeah, I learned a lot there. And then as you travel, you kind of go on these small farms, small communities, and you're learning little things along the way that maybe I can't think of right now. I don't know what exactly stuck, but even just learning about the lifestyle and the fact that people are doing this sort of thing, I think, was an eye-opener for me as well. So yeah, I could be learning lots of amazing new skills, but at the same time, just knowing that people are living in a way that I was really interested in living in, but I hadn't seen before. Seeing that in action, for me, was eye-opening, and it was really cool. And that could have been one of the biggest things early on that was the most educational. Just knowing that people were doing it, it exists, and learning what I didn't know about so I could actually then research it. And I forgot all about my hot chocolate. Where were we? So Nicaragua, traveling around, working on farms. And then I started doing this disaster volunteering stuff. So post-disaster volunteering, let's say my first one was in Bangladesh after a hurricane. I went to Philippines a couple times, Indonesia, Haiti a couple times after hurricanes, earthquakes, typhoons, which I guess is the same thing as a hurricane. What else did we do? Mostly earthquakes and storms. And basically you go in and do a lot of tidy up work after the disaster, but then that transitions eventually into building work. So that was possibly one of my first times doing more conventional building with wood and concrete and bricklaying and stuff like that. So during my time following this disaster organization around, at the time they were called All Hands Disaster Response, Hands-on Disaster Response, and then they changed the name to All Hands, and now they're called something completely different, but I'll put the link below. It was a really good time. I learned so much about building. I learned a lot about living in community, living in amongst lots of different people. So if you're somebody who is interested in moving into an existing community or starting your own, I learned a lot about that sort of thing. And I think early on I did want to live in community. I did want to be a part of maybe something that was pre-existing. And then I guess it just sort of evolved away from that as I saw what was out there and decided more what I wanted to do. But again, it's kind of seeing things in action, seeing how you respond to certain situations, and seeing if you enjoy living in a big group or if you're more of a solo person. You just kind of learning about yourself along the way, as well as learning all these great skills. How to swing a hammer, how to saw a piece of wood, how to use power tools, and I was really lucky to be able to follow this group around the world for 4 years and help out a little bit, I hope, but also really gain a lot of useful skills in the process as well. And I still had my interest in natural building, and that's probably where I've done the most to push forward my, I guess, skills in education. I've done, I think, a few cob building courses, which is just a type of building houses or walls, big thick mud walls. I've done straw bale building courses, building with straw bales. I haven't done any plastering courses. I haven't done any earth floor courses, but that's coming up when I go to Clayfest in July. I'm really excited about that. My friend Sinead and I went to the straw bale conference a couple years ago as well, which doesn't sound massively exciting, but it was great. There's lots of interesting people there, and I learned a lot as well. It wasn't so hands-on, but again, it's just amazing to see what's out there, what people are doing, and I have an interest in natural building, and I just kind of went for it all the way to the exciting sounding straw bale conference and Clayfest this year as well. So I've really made an effort to do a lot of building courses, and I've had the fortune of living close to my friend Barbara, who taught a Tadillac course recently. That's another natural building skill that I did another random skill I'm just picking up along the way. So just building on what I've learned, and also learning about new techniques that I want to know more about. And I've also done a permaculture design course as well. I did it way back in 2010 in southern Ethiopia in a place called Arba Minch, or nearby at a community called Strawberry Fields. I don't think Strawberry Fields is there anymore, but it was a really interesting place to do a PDC. Lots of unique challenges to the region, and it was just amazing to be able to go down to that part of Ethiopia and have a look around. I was living in Rwanda at the time, so it was close for me. It was actually a local PDC not so far away, so that was really cool. Also, living in Rwanda, it's really interesting to see what people do, how they farm, how they build, and I feel like I've learned a lot just kind of being around people in these countries as well. So I guess my point is that if you're somebody who watches this channel and I look like I kind of know what I'm doing with a few things here and there, maybe I do with certain things. Most of the stuff I don't. I don't even remember what the definition of permaculture is, if I'm honest with you. And I'm not really super precious about the stuff I do on the land. I feel like the land stuff mostly works itself out. I could definitely improve things, but I just don't have time for diving too much into that stuff now. But for building, I think maybe you could watch the channel and see that I can build some things and I can do some stuff. I'd say I know a decent amount about natural building. I can work with clay pretty well. I still don't know how to plaster with it. I still don't know how to mix up natural paints, so I still have a lot to learn. So I guess what I'm trying to convey in this video is that it's been a super long process getting to where I am today, and a lot of the stuff I've learned has been with intention. I've sought out these courses, I've made time, I've spent a lot of time volunteering in specific places, doing specific things, because I wanted to build my skills. So I didn't really just fall into knowing how to build a wall out of clay. It's something that I've been practicing for a long time. But I will also say that I think the most important thing for any of this stuff is just a positive attitude and the willingness to try. Because I think with building, for the most part, not a lot of it is really difficult. It's difficult to do things to a high standard and to do them well and to do them quickly. But if you just want to get something done, if you have the time to try to make it as good as you can, if you're patient, and if you have this attitude of just having a go, I think that's really one of the most important things, and then you learn the rest along the way. So that's me blabbing on about my educational journey to get to where I am today. I don't know if it was a lot. I don't know if you enjoyed it. If you like hearing me talk about random topics, let me know. And if you have anything you want to hear me blab on about in some future video, also let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can come up with something else. So that's enough of that. I'm gonna have another sip of my hot chocolate. No flies are in here, that's good. And now let's go to my garden, where I had help from some permaculture design students that came over from Kila Permaculture Farm, and that's the place that I volunteered with originally when I came to this area, and I had a great experience and I loved it. So if anyone else is looking for courses in natural building, permaculture, food forests, yoga stuff, or if you want to be a volunteer, they're a great place, and I'll put their details below as well. So that's enough of me. Let's go to the garden. Good morning, Mr. Mikey. I really wish that I could join you snoozing on the couch this morning, because the weather outside is miserable, and normally when the weather is miserable I just would, but today is a little different. Because today, of all days, after many days of beautiful, perfect weather, it's decided to rain, and today, come on, I know, it's miserable out there. And today is, of course, the day that I'm due to get a bunch of permaculture design course students as volunteers on my land. The idea is that they do a half day of work on my land. I give them a tour, I give them some lunch, and they get to see another off-grid property, sort of using permaculture principles. But basically they get to go into the community, help out a little bit, and also see what other people are doing. But though the rain has died down a little bit, and it looks like there's some brighter skies over yonder, it's still miserable. I really don't like working in the rain. But I guess I'll get the boots on, get the rain jacket on, and we'll just do it. Because you can't always have these perfect, sunshiny, beautiful Portugal days. Sometimes you get the rain, and I'm not one for complaining about the rain. It's always welcome. This is a very dry and crispy country in the summer, and so whenever we get the rain, I'm very happy to see it. But unfortunately, it's coming on a day where I actually have to get outside and do some work. And of course, all my firewood is wet now, and it's going to be difficult to get dry and warm after a work day. So not ideal, but we'll make it work. We'll have fun in the process, and I'm excited to have people here and show them around. I always love showing people my place, and I like meeting new people, and working with people as well is a nice change from my usual work on my own. But I'm getting wet, so I'm gonna head back inside, have a coffee, do a little bit of prep for these guys arriving in about an hour, and then I guess we'll see you again from the garden. So the rain is still falling, probably heavier than before, but I've got those students out there in the garden. They're being really good sports, and reluctantly, I'm about to go join them. Hi guys, I'm sorry that this is happening to us. We've had a beautiful, I don't know, 2 weeks at least of wonderful weather. And of course, now that we have a work day, here we are. How's it going? How you feeling?
Hello. Hi. Doing good.
Hi.
We're feeling good.
Yeah.
It's a bit wet.
A little wet. And so how's the course going?
Good.
So far so good?
Yeah.
Possibly with the exception of today.
No, but it's good. I mean, it's refreshing.
It's refreshing. Yeah, it has been a little hot. You're right. Better to look on the positive side of things. So this is my hugelkultur bed, finally getting some attention. I'm going to take you on a little whip around the garden to show you the before. And then I'll check in again once we hopefully have this monstrous weed problem under control. Definitely need a little help from my friends on this one. And so I'm happy to have these permaculture students here. Less happy to be working in the rain, but you do what you gotta do. Okay, we've been hard at work, made some pretty amazing progress.
Yeah. There
We
is
planted a tree.
Sarah and Mikey got my cherry tree in the ground.
cerejeira.
Exactly. Celeste, I'll call her Celeste.
Yo,
Looking good?
Celeste.
looking
ba-
amazing.
And basically, this garden is filled with rocks anywhere you want to plant a tree. I found a spot over here, but this has been an unsuccessful spot. It might work for a lime tree, which has shallower roots.
Yeah.
Like that tree over there is sitting on a rock, basically. So, well done.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not your first tree you planted?
Not the
Second
first
tree.
Second tree? Well done. So we've obliterated the weeds over here and managed to salvage some pepper plants. Amazingly, some of them are still alive. So thanks, guys, for the weeding efforts. And now let's go drink some coffee.
Yeah.
So the couch is a 4-person couch. What do you think? Tight
Yeah,
squeeze?
it is. Well, it's
Cozy.
nice and cozy, yeah.
And these guys wanted to see one of my videos, and it's actually a video of other Keela students and volunteers coming to visit, so full circle.
Wait, let's think about top again.
So these guys are doing one final push in the garden, and of course it started to rain, and I'm gonna go up and prepare lunch. So thanks, guys. Sorry about the weather. Just a little close-up of the beverages. The awkward close-up of the limoncello that came out of a dubious jar that looked very suspicious.
Dubious.
So this is the first taste test of the limoncello that I made.
Cheers.
Have a sip, guys. Don't lie. Tell me like it is.
Cheers.
Tell it like it is.
You're gonna see my face. Wow. It's quite good. Oh,
I like that it's like slightly
nice.
creamy.
I have
It's
it.
pretty good.
It's
Soft.
slightly
It-
creamy.
It's like, it has like
Yeah, it's kind of thick, no?
Yes.
thick, more like
Like
thick,
a syrupy.
Yeah. Syrupy, yeah. Can I just chug it all down?
Do it. You do you, man. You worked hard today.
Super nice. Actually,
really
super nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Not too sweet.
Exactly.
It's thick. Warms you up.
Yeah.
Nice and
warms the
lemony.
soul on a rainy day.
And it's
Yeah.
lemony. Really lemony.
zesty. Really zesty.
So the limoncello is a winner.
Yeah.
And did you like the little lemon slice ice cube? It was a frozen lemon
Oh,
slice.
really?
Oh, really? Was it
Yeah.
Nice
frozen?
touch, nice touch.
Honestly, I've got lemons for days, so I've got to be creative. All right, let's eat lunch.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so, of course, the sun has come out after we've finished all the hard work. Everyone's dried off, I hope.
Yeah.
Warmed
Yeah.
by a yummy lunch. And we've got some lemons that are gonna go to tequila. And I'll trade for some kind of wonderful tree, some sort of plant. And yeah, the sun is out, everyone's dry. And so while I was making lunch, these guys were adding some compost to these beds, putting some cardboard down, and adding some straw. So that's amazing. It's all ready for planting. And I'm excited to get some stuff into the garden. So thanks again, guys.
Yes.
I hope you had a good time.
It's not
That was
like
really fun.
the opposite. Yeah.
I didn't work you too hard.
Right.
All right, here you're just getting ready to pose. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the visit from the Keela Permaculture Farm, PDC, design students. We had a really good time, despite the pretty awful weather, actually. It was terrible in the morning, but they powered through. We got a lot done. And yeah, big thanks to Mikey, Nathan, Sarah, and Nicole for your hard work. And I hope you guys had a fun time here. I always like having people coming over and helping out and just checking out my place. And it's always fun to give little tours around and stuff as well. So that was great. And my top tip If you're somebody that wants to move to a whole new country you've never been to before, or maybe an area you've never been to, you want to buy a piece of land, you want to start a new life, you want to set up a community, a small homestead like mine, whatever. If you're going into a new place, just do a new thing. My number one piece of advice would be, don't buy straight away. Scope out the area, scope out a whole bunch of different areas first, and go in as a volunteer and help out. Meet the community, take your time, don't rush into anything, and yeah, participate in the community, get to know people, and try to see if the community and the area is what you want before you actually commit to buying. Not everybody has that time, not everybody has that opportunity, but a lot of people do. I was just traveling around before I bought this place, and I really had plenty of time to explore, and it really helped me out. I didn't really explore that much in Portugal, but because I came here and worked as a volunteer at Keela twice before I actually bought my property, I was really able to worm my way into the community, meet lots of interesting people, make friends, and have help when I arrived, have lots of great advice, and it really did make the whole transition so much easier. So that's my big piece of advice. I hope it was worth it, and I hope you enjoyed the video. The day has turned into a beautiful one, and my parents are here, so I'm actually gonna head back up to where they're staying, and we're gonna have some fun times tonight, relax, and enjoy this beautiful evening. So I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for watching. If you did like it, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.